What's going on, guys? Today we're going to go over a little bit of my surgery that I had about 4 weeks ago. This Thursday actually marks 4 weeks since the surgery. We had an ankle arthroscopy done, as well as a microfracture and the Brostrom procedure. Basically what they did is they went in, cleaned up any debris within the ankle, especially around the cartilage and the ligament, and then they drilled 2 microfractures just above where they cleaned out the debris and where the osteochondral lesion was. And they showed pictures, and that's probably what was causing my pain when I was pivoting or doing any running. And then especially the loose ankle problem that I had, that's where they went in and did the Brostrom procedure and tightened up those ligaments. So the day of, 8 hours before, I couldn't eat or drink. That's usually normal for, I think, any surgery. Especially, they put me under general anesthesia, so I'm sure that's probably the normal for this surgery. And then I got there, they gave me some calming medicine. Once they started getting things going, they started with the calming medicine, especially because they missed the IV like 4 times. That was awful, but hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody getting the surgery. And then they did the nerve blocker, which for the nerve blocker, I highly suggest getting it. It helped tremendously with pain, especially the first 2 days. What they did was they took a needle, I actually watched them do it through the screen. They took a needle, inserted the nerve blocker just above my knee, and then they also did a shot with me kind of like this. They put one just to the outside of the knee. And that kicked in about 12-15 minutes. And by that point, everything below the knee was, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't even move it. My toes were frozen. I couldn't even feel or move my toes. So it works. After that, they rolled me back to the operating room and put the mask on me, inserted the anesthesia in the IV, and I was out. I don't even remember how fast. It was fast. Surgery went really well, they said, and I got out of the operating room. I woke up next to just a few of the workers, and I was out of the hospital, and I'd say about 30 minutes after I woke up from surgery. They put you in a hard splint wrapped in an ACE bandage. So it's not a full-on cast, but it's a hard splint kind of down both sides. Can't get it wet. No bathing with putting the leg under any sort of water is a no-go. They hooked me up with crutches and a scooter. Scooter's in my car, so I don't have that on me. Hopefully they give you one of those, or I suggest renting one. Those both helped a lot. I used the scooter a lot outside, and I used the crutches getting around here. No weight bearing. For me, it was no weight bearing for 6 weeks initially, but things changed once I went back to the doctor and he saw and kind of tested out my foot. He took off the bandage, he took off the cast, the splint, and then they took out the sutures in my foot, which that was a little painful. Just be prepared for that. When they take the stitches out, it's a little bit painful. But they said the ankle looked really good. The swelling was doing good. Recovery was going great. So he tested my range of motion a little bit. It was quite painful to do that. But after that visit, he said that I am clear to slowly start tolerating weight bearing. So what that means is going around the house mostly on crutches. I've been slowly kind of incorporating my foot back into walking, and it's worked. I went from just tapping my foot on the ground to actually I've put, I'd say, about 25% of my weight now. Every time I'm walking with the crutches, I'm doing partial weight bearing about 25%. So it's about week 4. I'd say I started weight bearing slightly around week 2, end of week 2 into week 3. And week 4 now I'm about 25%. They want me to be close to, or if not 100% by the end of week 6. So it takes some effort. You got to move a little bit, but that's also good for your body. So, but initially when you're recovering, most of the time I was elevating. So the first 2 weeks, I mean, I wasn't moving around a lot. I was on aspirin. I was on tramadol, which is a little bit more of a intense pain reliever. Yeah, so medications overall, they gave me Tylenol, mainly to handle pain. Tramadol if the Tylenol didn't work, and then if I had to, absolutely, they gave me Oxycontin, which I did not touch at all. I didn't even want to touch that because I know the crap that comes with that. So anyways, outside of that, I elevated the leg. Normally what they want you to do, if I can demonstrate it, they want you to, when you're laying down or just sitting, like when I was sitting and watching TV, I'd have my leg up on 2 pillows. That way you can see it's above my heart. That's the goal. They don't want you to put it under the knee because that's not going to work. The blood's just going to stop at the knee. So you put it to where it's just a perfect line. So when you're resting, you are elevating the leg, the ankle is above the heart. That's what they want you to do. That's the ultimate goal of elevating the leg. But other than that, recovery has been great for me. Mostly just sitting, watching TV, doing homework, getting things done. Using the crutches inside has been my best bet, and then using the scooter when I absolutely have to inside, and then mostly using the scooter outside. You are okay, at least I was okay to drive at about 2 weeks, only because that's when I was off of all pain meds. And plus, I mean, who wants to, especially if it's on your right foot, you're not gonna be able to drive at all probably until it's off. But my left foot, after I was given the okay to kind of slowly weight bear and move around the house a little more, I started driving. I have put the foot down a little more. I've done exercises, you can see. Most of my workouts have been push-ups on the knee and a lot of core, obviously, because I can't stand. They don't want you to do any weightlifting standing, even sitting. I try to not put my foot on the ground because that's gonna make me want to use that foot to hold myself stable. So I do a lot of core, I do a lot of resistance band workouts, which a lot of this stuff, laying down, I'll put it around my other foot and kind of do some arm workouts. Just anything I can do, I've kind of formulated random workouts that'll work for me. After 2 weeks for me in the cast, I went in, they took the sutures out, the stitches. That kind of hurt a little bit, so be prepared for that. And they put me in this air cast boot. And this boot is really nice. It actually it has 2 settings where you can manually use this pump up button. It'll pump up the left side. You can change it to the next one. It'll pump up the right side. They want you to, one, make sure you're sitting when you're doing it. Your ankle, your heel should be touching the back of the boot, and it should be flat. Your foot should kind of be, nice and flat on it, not like kind of like that, to where toes are pointing down. And you pump it up. They say it should be nice and snug, not too tight. If it's too tight, it'll put pressure, and that doesn't feel very comfortable. But it's easy to undo. You just have a little button here, and you push it down, and the air will just deflate the cast. So it's really nice, really cool boot. This is what I'll be in all the way until I take it off and I'm free to walk. Full weight bearing, I'll start in this boot, I'm sure. I have been wearing a shoe that has a more support under it on my right foot, so that it kind of balances the uneven leg length out, because that's been kind of a pain on the hips and the back. So yeah, at the appointment, he told me, the doctor said that I am free. He did a little bit of a test. He tested my range of motion a little bit of my strength, and he just all in all looked at the ankle and said, you know what, you're good to go to start slowly as tolerated, put some weight on it. So he said just sitting down, instead of keeping it elevated, kind of here and there, put the foot on the ground like that, or fully on the ground, and kind of just see where it's at. And if there's any pain, just stop and try again later. And so I've slowly been doing that. I'd say week 2 or 3, just around week 3, I was putting about barely any weight. I was just resting, like just tapping my foot on the ground as I was using my crutches. But now I'd say about 25-30% of my body weight I'm using as I'm using my crutches. So the way they do it is you're gonna be on your crutches, and then let's see if I can demonstrate the crutches. So here I am, foot on the crutches. When I take a step, that's when I'll step. And that is how I've been slowly bearing more and more weight. So you kind of just let off, as you're able to bear more weight, you let off more of the weight from the crutches on your arms to more of it on your foot. So I'd say I'm at about 30% now of weight, which is pretty good. My goal is to be at 100% by the time I go back to them, and that's what they want me to do, is get to 100% of weight bearing at week 6. So hopefully in about 3 weeks, I will be able to bear full weight. But yeah, all in all, recovery's looking great. As far as once they give you the go to do range of motion, you shouldn't be doing any side to side with the ankle. That'll screw up the repair. Eversion and inversion, they say it's no-go, don't do it. Try to keep your foot from doing that. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion has been a good thing. They want you to kind of work on that as you are able to tolerate it once you're given the go to take off the boot. So I take off the boot kind of sometimes to rest, very little amount of time though, 5-10 minutes. I'll keep the boot off to kind of let my foot breathe and do a little of a range of motion exercises, dorsiflex, plantar flexion. Of course, once you have the boot, this boot, you can take it off to shower, you can take baths, you can, whatever you need to do, just keep it on most of the day. So you're not, if you happen to bump into something, you got the boot on, you're good to go. I've fallen off the scooter outside twice. I did land on my foot slightly. I tapped on the ground once. It's not a big deal, nothing happened. It's totally okay. That's what the boot's for. Recovery's looking great. I hope to be out of this boot in a few weeks. I'm sure I'll post something else here soon once I'm out of the boot. And if you'd like to keep up with the recovery process, I can show you more. And you can message me, hit me up on Instagram at @thegritrunner. Yeah, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up of how the surgery is. If you have or are planning to get the surgery, let me know, and I can give you any more details you want to know and help you out. So I'll give you guys a quick look at what the ankle looks like. So first off, obviously you want to deflate the boot. You can hear the air coming out on both sides all the way. So you always want to deflate the air cast first. Then you can take off the straps, and there's some Velcro here. And there you have it. There is the leg. First off, you could tell how skinny it is compared to, I don't know if you can tell there, to my other leg. Pretty skinny, but here is where they did the actual incisions right there. So there's one, that's where they did the majority of the repair on this spot right here. It's still a little swollen right here, you might be able to tell. And then there was one more site that they did right here, which was, I believe, just another ligament tightening. I'm not totally sure. But overall, the swelling has gone way down, and it's looking really good. And I kind of get some range of motion in there. I'm kind of working on dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. I can move my toes pretty good. It's coming around. I just can tell when you try to bring it up just enough, you'll feel some tightness, some strain right here. So I'm just trying to slowly work it, get that range of motion back. I'm sure I'll post another video of how recovery's going with physical therapy. Obviously, I'll be doing physical therapy with this surgery probably 1 to 2 times a week for a good month or two, and then we'll move forward from there. My goal is to get back to running and hopefully do a triathlon at some point. Swimming is probably be the first thing I return to, maybe biking. I probably won't be doing any kicking with swimming though for a while, but definitely some biking. Running is probably the last thing, but yeah, it's looking good and recovery's looking good. So leave a comment. I'll post some pictures of what it looked like before, right after I got the stitches out, and now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in another video.